I use that example of Roy Cohn because Tony Kushner wrote this masterpiece.
It started as a quiet moment. Just another industry roundtable. Just another veteran actor speaking his truth in a room filled with younger talent and knowing glances. But no one expected that truth from Al Pacino. The room, once buzzing with polite chatter and the clinking of glasses, fell into a stunned hush as Pacino, in a sudden moment of unscripted honesty, named 7 actors, 7 real high-profile household name actors that he absolutely hates. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. No one moved. The moderator's smile flickered. Cameras rolled, and a few stunned assistants reached for their phones, fingers trembling. This wasn't in the pre-interview. This wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. Pacino, Michael Corleone, Tony Montana, Lieutenant Colonel Frank Slade leaned forward, voice low and serious. "Let me tell you something," he began, and with that phrase alone, everyone in the room sensed something seismic was about to drop. There was no laughing, no grandstanding, no clickbait shock value in his delivery. This wasn't a roast. This wasn't a PR stunt. It was genuine, raw, a deeply personal reckoning. The names he said, each one a juggernaut, some contemporaries, others younger stars, sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. No direct quotes were released to the public, of course, out of legal caution and industry damage control, but the substance of the event, the emotional undercurrent, and most importantly, the list itself, began circulating within hours. It hit like a Hollywood earthquake, rippling through red carpets, interviews, and agents' back channels with the force of an uncontained scandal. Let's step back a moment and understand why this moment was so jarring, and why it mattered. Al Pacino isn't just a name in film. He's one of the foundational pillars of modern American acting. From The Godfather to Scarface, Dog Day Afternoon, Heat, The Devil's Advocate, and even his more recent foray in The Irishman, Pacino has been a relentless force of theatrical, volatile brilliance. He's known for passion, for method, for being mercurial on set, but always delivering something no one else could touch. His performances are permanently embedded in cinema's DNA. Yet through all that fame and admiration, Pacino has been, perhaps surprisingly, diplomatic. He's rarely been embroiled in scandals. He's not the one to pop off in interviews or hurl critiques. He's respected not just for his talent, but for his restraint. So when a man who spent over 5 decades avoiding the messiness of public spats decides to finally throw down and name names, it commands attention. And the reaction was immediate, visceral, and chaotic. Everyone wanted to know, who did Al Pacino hate? And more importantly, why? As the dust settled and confirmations started leaking from multiple sources inside the event, the names slowly emerged, pieced together by those in attendance and cross-referenced by reporters with knowledge of Pacino's professional history. It wasn't hard to corroborate. Tension had always bubbled beneath the surface with some of these actors. Rumors, side comments, cryptic avoidance during award ceremonies, it was all there in retrospect. The list, as confirmed, included Jeremy Renner, Shia LaBeouf, Jared Leto, Tom Hardy, James Franco, Christian Bale, and Johnny Depp. Let's unpack this. Jeremy Renner was perhaps the least expected name on the list. A solid actor with a respectable track record, he rose to fame with The Hurt Locker and later became a staple of the Avengers franchise. But sources close to Pacino say the dislike stems from Renner's attitude on set, his notoriously brusque demeanor, and perhaps more tellingly, what Pacino once reportedly referred to offhandedly, before this event, as empty eyes. For an actor as soul-searching and character-driven as Pacino, working alongside someone he felt lacked emotional depth might have been unbearable. Renner's focus on stunts, minimalism, and fast-paced shooting could have clashed with Pacino's slower, more internal approach. Shia LaBeouf was no shock to insiders. Pacino and LaBeouf were once rumored to be in talks for a stage project, an experimental production that never came to life. The rumor was that Pacino walked away after a single workshop session. LaBeouf, for all his intense commitment, he once pulled out a tooth for fury and infamously wore a paper bag to a film premiere, may have represented a kind of chaotic energy that grated against Pacino's classical foundations. Pacino has long advocated for grounded, truthful performance, no matter how outlandish the role. LaBeouf's often performative or even meta approach might have read as unserious or worse, self-indulgent. Jared Leto's inclusion lit up the headlines. Leto has earned both acclaim and eye rolls for his infamous method acting. Stories abound about him sending rats to co-stars on the set of Suicide Squad, staying in character for months, and other over-the-top antics. Pacino's distaste likely wasn't about Leto's talent. He's an Oscar winner, after all, but about what that talent is wrapped in. Spectacle. Pacino's approach to method is internal, spiritual, often invisible. He's the kind of actor who disappears into a role without ever needing to tweet about it. Leto's public-facing extremes might have been seen as not just amateurish, but disrespectful to the craft. Tom Hardy drew raised eyebrows when his name came out, mostly because of his reputation as a director's actor, willing, daring, and committed. But Hardy is also notoriously difficult on set, prone to improvisation and at times combative with co-stars. Pacino reportedly walked off a table read years ago where Hardy was improvising so much that it derailed the scene. He acts like the script is just a suggestion, someone close to the production once said. That's not how Pacino works. His reverence for the written word, for structured scenes and nuanced character work, may have found Hardy's instinctual muscular style abrasive. Then came James Franco, and here, the temperature in the room shifted palpably. Franco has long courted controversy, both for his eccentric performances and his off-screen behavior. The allegations that have followed him for years likely contribute to Pacino's distaste, but sources close to the event suggest it went deeper. Pacino had seen Franco as a kind of false prophet of performance, an actor who cloaks shallow roles in academic language, presenting art school aesthetic as gravitas. For someone like Pacino, who trained at the Actors Studio and studied under Lee Strasberg, the commercialization of artistic jargon might be not just irritating, but sacrilegious. Christian Bale being named sent Twitter into a frenzy. After all, Bale is considered one of the finest actors of his generation, a method legend himself, known for disappearing into roles like The Machinist, American Psycho, and Vice. But Pacino's issue with Bale is said to revolve around ego. While they never shared the screen, Pacino reportedly grew tired of Bale's off-camera arrogance, which he felt was masked as commitment. On the set of The Big Short, where Pacino visited during production as a guest of director Adam McKay, he was said to be appalled by Bale's on-set outbursts and abrasive attitude toward crew members. For Pacino, who sees acting as an ensemble effort, that kind of behavior would be unforgivable. And finally, Johnny Depp, the crown jewel of this incendiary list. Once a darling of Hollywood's experimental side, Depp has in recent years become a lightning rod for controversy. Legal battles with Amber Heard, erratic behavior, and uneven performances have all tarnished his legacy. But Pacino's dislike may stretch back even further. When Depp was younger and rising fast through films like Donnie Brasco, where he and Pacino actually did work together, Pacino reportedly felt a tension building. He never really listened, one crew member said of Depp's time on Donnie Brasco. Pacino, a master of dialogue and subtext, may have found Depp's aloof, half-present energy not just incompatible, but offensive. It wasn't just professional, it was personal. Now imagine the sheer weight of a living legend publicly listing these names. Not behind closed doors, not whispered over a drink at the Polo Lounge, but on record in a filmed event. The implications weren't just scandalous, they were cultural. Actors have long been part of Hollywood's unspoken fraternity, an elite group whose public unity masked private feuds. But here was Pacino, one of the elder statesmen of the art form, pulling the curtain back and exposing a fractured brotherhood. This wasn't just about personal taste. This was about what acting means. Pacino's list seemed to draw a line in the sand. On one side, actors who treat the craft as sacred. On the other, those who perform it like a stunt, a meme, or a brand. And what does it mean for the future of acting when someone like Pacino, who has worked with Brando, De Niro, Hoffman, Walken, takes such a definitive stand against a group that includes the industry's current leading men? It sparked a broader conversation almost instantly. Podcasts lit up with debates about the Leto style versus the Pacino style. Twitter exploded with memes, think pieces, and breakdowns of every moment those actors may have shared with Pacino in public or private. Old interviews were reanalyzed. Red carpets were rewatched for signs of tension. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Al Pacino naming 7 actors he hates? Who and why? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.